If you were to ask me what my favorite game was, I'd probably be like, that's easy. Skyrim? Wait, no. God of War? Wait, no. Hello Kitty Seasons? Wait, no. Fuck Mr. Thatcher. Maybe. The one series I've always found myself going back to was the Tasmanian Tiger series. Sure, I started about 70 new games in Skyrim with different backstories, but I usually get a few hours in before forgetting about it and then going back a few months later to do the same thing again. But Tasmanian Tiger, I start a new game and I always sit back and finish it. If I have a day off from work, it's raining outside and I have no other plans, then this is my go-to comfort game. Do you guys remember Dearden's? It was a furniture store, I think. I don't know, but I remember I went with my dad to make a payment for something, and by the entrance was a shelf with some video games, and there it was, the Tasmanian Tiger. I didn't know what it was, but my ADHD was like, it looks like a cartoon. I want it. And thankfully, it was like $10. And who knew that those $10 would have changed my life for at least the next 2 months? The Tasmanian Tiger is a 3D platforming collectathon that released in 2002 where you play as Ty, the Tasmanian Tiger, through the Australian outback. The story starts off with this spooky jungle forest thing. I didn't even know Australia had jungle forest things. And bam, Ty runs into the frame where he's tackled by this fucking creature. They're playing tag, but Ty falls into a hole in the ground where a bunyip elder gives Ty his backstory and how long ago Ty's parents were involved in a battle against Boss Cass, a cassowary who hates that he's not at the top of the food chain, so he plans to kill off everyone who is. Ty's family fights back in this epic ass anime fight, but are sent away into the dreaming and trapped forever, and the talismans that open the portal are sent to the far off distant corners of Australia. The game cuts back to Ty and the bunyip elder, and look at Ty sitting there just listening to the story like he's watching a little Saturday morning cartoon. He's fucking adorable. Ty goes through a couple of adventures, collecting things, doing his thing, you know. Meanwhile, Boss Cass is somewhere with his lizard goons and finds the first talisman. Ty explores the beach, a rainforest, fights this bull that has this scream that used to scare the balls out of me. He explores this snowy mountain where a mom has lost her kids around the mountain, and so we gotta find them. Boss Cass gets all frustrated that no one can stop Ty and beats his employees for a while. Ty goes to this little river area where he meets Dennis, a green tree frog who is scared of everything. He makes friends with the bull from earlier and they ride around the streets of Australia for a while. Boss Cass just keeps on beating up his employees until one of them steps up and is like, I can stop him, and he's all dark and mysterious. Ty goes to a rainforest where he meets Lenny the lyrebird, a bird that no matter what he says, he's lying. He's always lying. Ty follows him like an idiot, and he gets led into a trap with Sly, that dark and mysterious character from earlier in the goofiest boss fight ever. But Sly gets his ass beat. Ty confronts Lenny, who is like, here, take this, so sorry. The snowy mountains get set on fire, and the mom who lost her kids from earlier loses them again, and we gotta find them before they die in the fire, and also their house burned down. God damn, this poor family. Ty faces off against this monkey robot with big black nipples, and inside is Fluffy, a devil lizard who talks all sexy and flies off like an anime character when she's defeated. Sly tells Boss Cass that he couldn't defeat Ty, but Boss Cass is like, don't even trip, my boy. I just finished fixing up this big ass robot from the start of the game, and I'm gonna destroy everything. Ty runs this dangerous gauntlet in order to get to Boss Cass's base, and then fights Shadow the Ghost Bat and beats her shit before also fighting Sly and beating his shit. But Ty saves him before he falls into the lava, and Sly is like, why did you save me? I'm evil. And Ty is like, brother, the battle between good and evil is in the heart of every man. And Sly is like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he runs off again. Ty gets on Boss Cass's big ass robot where he destroys that shit, and Sly comes in and is like, here, I'm good now, fuck my backstory, take this boomerang, because in this game you attack using boomerangs. Maybe I should have mentioned that, but it doesn't matter yet because we're talking about the story. Anyway, Ty uses the new boomerang that Sly gave him to destroy the robot and defeat Boss Cass. They use the talismans to open the portal to the dreaming and bring back Ty's family, and then yeah, the game ends like this, and it's so stupid, and I love it. The story is the most basic, simple, turn your brain off thing, and I love it. It's cheesy, it's over the top, it has all these mystical elements that they never explain. It's just a part of it, and who cares? It's Australian as fuck. But how's the gameplay? I mean, the gameplay holds up. To be fair, the game was remastered for current consoles with improved graphics and controls, and that's the version I'm playing, but even the original still holds up to this day. Ty's controls are extremely responsive and satisfying. He runs at a decent speed. When you run on ice, it's all slippery and tough to control, and if you run on mud, it's heavy and harder to jump. You can swim around at fast speeds too, and these levels are these are the only time I've ever enjoyed water-based levels in any video game ever. Your main attack are these two boomerangs, or rangs as they call them in the game, that you throw and smack enemies, and they always come flying back to you. And while this is the simplest form of combat in any video game, it's still really satisfying, and you get this huge array of boomerangs that you collect, and they all have unique abilities that change up the gameplay a bit. You got the main four, the regular beat 'em up rank, the fire rangs that melt ice and destroy spiderwebs, the ice rangs that cool off fire and can make platforms on water, and the electric rank that you only need this one time to open this one door. You can buy a bunch of different ranks too. There's this rank that goes even further than normal ranks. There's this one that gives you an audio cue when there's like a certain collectible near you, and then there's this one that lets you go off. You buy these ranks from this little shop where you pay by using these golden cogs that you collect around the levels, which brings us to the main objective of the game, the collectibles. You start off in this little hub world with a select few levels to choose from. Inside the levels, your goal is to collect these thunder eggs by completing little side missions. These thunder eggs power this machine, which then opens the portal to the boss fight and then leads to even more levels. Most of your objectives in the levels themselves are pretty similar. You have these opals in each level and you need to collect 300 and turn them into this thing. I don't know what it is. It must be Australian, but it spits out a thunder egg. There's these 5 locked up bilbies that you need to bite out of their cage. There's thunder eggs that are given to you at the end of certain mini games when you complete a platforming challenge. Every level has a time trial or a race that also gives you a thunder egg. There are also these picture frames. You can find them by finding these invisible boxes throughout the levels, and to make it easier, you can use the boomerang that reveals their location and plays an audio cue when you're near them. When you find all these collectibles, you unlock 2 secret levels where the only objective is to solve some basic puzzles and collect the remaining 70 something picture frames. If you finish the secret levels and collect every single item and boomerang and then go back and play through the final battle again, you're given the secret ending hinting at a major new scary robot Thai villain, which the developers themselves have said was just meant as a silly little joke ending, so that's fun. But aside from the 2 shitty secret levels, how are the rest of the levels? Well, the first world has these 3 levels. The first one is a tutorial level that's pretty straightforward and the music slaps, and there's this monkey meteor thing that turns you into this. I don't know what this does, and I've never in all my life playing this game ever figured out what it's for, but it's still a fun level, 10 out of 10. The next level is this rainforest that's also straightforward with some little off the beaten path secrets and this fun water slide thing, and the music still slaps, 10 out of 10. The beachside level where Ty learns to swim and also has tons of secret areas, secret shipwrecks, and a fun race at the end. Music slaps as always, but it also has this part where you just stand on the platform while it very slowly goes around collecting opals. Like, guys, you remastered the game. You couldn't make it go a little faster? 9 out of 10. There's this snowy mountain, and this is the first time the game really opens up its map. Like, this area is huge. There's this forest area with tons to explore, this frozen lake where you can explore under the water, and this lumber mill to explore. It's huge. The music slaps, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of this level. Never been. There's just something about it since I was little that's always been, okay, let's just get through this level. 5 out of 10 because the music is good during the time trial. There's this riverside level, the one where we meet Dennis, and this level bangs, dude. The vibe, the nighttime aesthetic, the exploration and fun puzzles, the giant roaches that give me the heebie-jeebies and remind me why I'm scared of Australia, and the music is probably my favorite in the game. 10 out of 10. There's this outback where you explore by riding that bull from the boss fight. These objectives suck and are all just walking around protecting Shazza, who is Ty's love interest. I completely forgot to mention her during my story recap, but she's so unimportant in this game, so whatever. The collectibles are a bitch to find, and literally every single time I play through this level, I end up spending way too much time looking for the final 3 opals because they're hidden in this tall grass. And the music, it's great, it slaps, but it's only 3 minutes long, and it's super loud and repetitive, and this level takes at least half an hour minimum, so have fun with that. 3 out of 10. There's this rainforest level with Lenny and the Sly fight. This is another banger. The music, the design of the level itself, Lenny is a great character. 10 out of 10. The other beachside level that kind of sucks, it's way too big and the objectives all just have you running from one side of the map to the other, and because of all the empty space, the collectibles are way too far apart. The map doesn't have to be this big, but the music still slaps. 3 out of 10. There's the Burning Snow Mountain, which also, why are these maps so big? This whole second half of the game is filled with these big ass maps. I mean, don't get me wrong, It's impressive that a game this old and with this small of a budget has these big ass open worlds to explore, especially when the way you get around the level is like this. 5 out of 10. There's this dangerous little gauntlet before the final battle. The level starts with Murray, the bird who's just there to provide exposition, tells you that nobody has ever made it out alive, and it's gonna be the biggest test of everything you've learned throughout the game, and that you better get ready to struggle. And then I beat it on my first try because it's the easiest level in the game, hands down. But the music does feel pretty epic, so 6 out of 10. And then the final battle where you destroy the big robot and then just control this boomerang through the inside of the robot for like a minute, and it's hard to control, and it's super sensitive, and it touches literally anything even a little bit, then it explodes and you gotta do it again. 6 out of 10. The Tasmanian Tiger still holds up and is still one of my favorite games, even when removing the nostalgia goggles. From the design of the levels, to the absolutely legendary soundtrack, the lovable but two-dimensional characters, even the little kick Ty does when he's gliding around. Look at his little foot, he's doing the kickies.